Hi, Dave here, and we have a new episode in the art review series. And this time we'll be taking a look at the work of Frank Hong. Now, Frank Hong is a concept artist. So, yeah. So I first discovered this guy a few years ago, and I think I was researching techniques on photo bashing, and I somehow found one of his videos, and he had this technique where instead of using the blending modes, he used instead the blending options whenever you kind of right click on a layer, you do have the blending options option, and he sort of played with I'm not sure what it's called, the leveling or something, and he was able to manipulate the photo and kind of take out the light and dark parts. And it was actually kind of very interesting technique, and it was the first time I've actually seen it done, because if you go to YouTube and kind of find photo bashing stuff, usually people focus on the blending modes in the kind of for the kind of effects and stuff. So yeah, so let's take a look at his ArtStation. Now, he doesn't have a lot in his portfolio. I think he's busy working. But yeah, so this was posted 6 years ago. Apparently, this is a project for Pacific Rim. However, I'm not sure if it's fan art or an actual kind of a work piece. But yeah, he does a lot of photo bashing. Now, in his more recent kind of work, he does more painting, and you can tell. But yeah, I think he made a shift in his style, at least in his kind of personal portfolio or his ArtStation portfolio. So this is another Pacific Rim piece. I think he did work on Pacific Rim, probably. He doesn't say in the description. And again, you can tell, photo bashed. And some painting, of course. Posted 6 years ago. So this is Defiance Season 2. So he doesn't say though if he did work on... is this a game? Series? Defiance? But yeah, he's pretty good with photo bashing. Although for this piece, I guess it's a kind of a project thing, where they require more kind of photorealistic kind of stuff. So maybe he didn't have to do a lot of painting, but more kind of photo manipulation stuff. So this is again posted 6 years ago for Defiance Season 2. Yeah. Shit, I think this is some kind of series in Netflix or something. But again, it's kind of in the same world, I guess. And same color scheme. Oh, I think this is the first video that I found in this kind of portfolio, or in his work, and this is where he applied the kind of blending options kind of effect, and you can see it. I will link his YouTube channel in the description, and as you can see, I do like the way he paints. It's not very tight, it's actually quite loose, and after he does photo bash, after doing a kind of a basic silhouette kind of painting, just focusing on the kind of big parts of the environment, he does the kind of photo effect thing with the blending options. And then after that, he does this kind of painting where it's more, I think, impressionistic even, although it's not as scattered, say compared to Craig Mullins' work. it's slightly tight, but it's more playful for me. And it's not even that super specific. He just focuses on suggesting that this is some kind of work area or something. This actually reminds me of the film 2012, where they had the kind of Noah's Ark kind of ships, the Ark ships. And yeah, so this is a personal art of his. Journey begins. So yeah, he does have a kind of an explanation for this thing, a tutorial of this specific piece, and he has a few of these kind of tutorials or styles where it's photo bash plus very painterly in the same time. So this is another piece, Sunflower Street. Again, he does have another video of this. And yeah, I think Frank Hong introduced me to, or made me comfortable with photo bashing, because at first I was kind of afraid, because I felt like it was kind of a complex kind of a technique. But because of the way he applies photos and just kind of plays around with it, it feels like he was just playing around, and he was able to kind of generate this art piece in a very chill manner. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should do some photo bashy stuff. And I think it did help me be more comfortable in that area. Now, of course, I had to take a step back and focus on my painting skills, so that I can actually properly apply my photo bashing, my basic fundamental photo bashing skills. And yeah. And you can see it's not even that clean, but it gets the concept out. And I think I'm more of this kind of guy. Shit, I forgot to drag the photos, because I do reference them, or I do have a kind of a library of really cool art and stuff. So we can drag this guy. So he did use a kind of similar, or these three I think have kind of the same feel to them. So yeah, so let's go here. So this is a Midnight Drive. Now thankfully he does have videos of these in his YouTube channel, and it's kind of a tutorial. He does voice over his work, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, let's go back to the Midnight Drive. And this one actually has some kind of Tron-like elements to it. Now, unfortunately, in his portfolio, ArtStation portfolio, he only has a few of these kind of pieces, kind of environment stuff. And this one actually feels full or complete. Like it just makes sense to me. And I actually haven't done a piece like this where it's kind of a full. Honestly, for me, I think I would have gone the route of more painterly stuff, because I think this is a bit too much detail. I think I'm more of the kind of mood, sorry about that, of the mood kind of guy. So I probably would have made the kind of background buildings more flat and kind of I would have added a more fade effect. So this one, although if you kind of focus in on certain areas, it does feel, even though it feels kind of tight, it's still kind of loose, I guess. It's not overly detailed, but yeah, it's a bit. I guess because I'm not comfortable with doing these kinds of work, but eventually maybe I will be able to do more slightly tight work. So this one is the Labyrinth. So again, some photo bashed stuff, and Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not as painterly, but it's still, good concept piece. This one I do like the way he paints people. In his more recent work, you'll see him paint more, well, environments, but he does add characters, so it makes it more kind of scalable. Like you can tell the scale of the environment way better, and you can kind of attach yourself to the character in that way. So yeah, it does simplify the person here. I probably photo bashed this guy, this car right here, and yeah. So this one's, I think, a sketch. This one's more painterly. This is not common in his ArtStation. Again, he only has a few pieces. I guess, yeah, he is busy. So this is a matte painting exercise. Makes sense. And it's more photo-bashy, not as painterly, of course. Of course, it's a matte painting, so it's going to look a little more realistic, I guess. Although you can see here in the kind of foreground, it's I mean, this is probably what I would do, but for a matte painting, I guess the background works. But yeah. So this is a financial district concept of his. Very interesting kind of road design right here, with the different kind of coloring systems. Mm-hmm. I do like the way he simplified the buildings in the background, and yep. So this one is a Star Wars Dark Troopers. Yeah, I think this is some kind of fan art. Now this one is actually kind of cool for me. This guy is a little more detailed compared to this, to these folks, and this could be some kind of Jedi, obviously with a saber. I'll drag this, but then again, this is more painterly, and I guess it makes sense because it's kind of in a, maybe this one, some rocks were kind of photo bashed, probably, maybe just a few, and then he just painted and took over. Franco doesn't actually have a very consistent style. Now, I'm only saying this with regards to his portfolio. Like, he doesn't have the same kind of go-to technique. So he can kind of go the photo bashy route with the environments we saw earlier. And he can probably do more painterly stuff like this. More keyframe kind of stuff, I think. This one actually feels like a Jamie Jones piece, or a John Park kind of thing. So this is another piece, more painterly, although there's some kind of basic photo bash and stuff for the kind of street symbols. I think it's more painterly. I guess it's because of the character here. So this could actually be a kind of keyframe concept of his, and yep. Oh, I do like this piece. Drag it. So this is a flight deck posted 4 years ago, so it's been a while. I do like this kind of concept where it's not too heavily photo bashed. Maybe just some texture, maybe, and stuff. And the sky is obviously a photo. It just looks more cool and more kind of artistic. But yeah, it's kind of tight though. If I were to do a kind of keyframe like this, I would be, again, more kind of painterly, but it's still pretty cool. Oh, so this is another kind of environment concept. So this guy could be ends up kind of dystopian. That's a golf club right here. Maybe this is some kind of a shit. What's the movie? The I Am Legend kind of a film. Maybe it's inspired by that film, starring Will Smith. Oof. This actually reminds me slightly of the Hellboy film, the very recent one, where there was a short kind of a bit in the end where the monsters or kind of demon shit came out from the underworld, and then there's this kind of creature where it had a very kind of spiky kind of or a very sharp pointed kind of leg, and then it just kind of barbecue sticked people. So yeah. So this is a kind of project he's working on, or a shot for a project he's working on. Posted 4 years ago. Okay. So I think this is called The Arrival. That feeling when you first arrive at a new city. Okay, makes sense. She has a kind of luggage here. And then just kind of amazed, I guess. So I guess that's what he was trying to capture. That kind of a feeling of newness, or yeah. So he did some photo bash right here. This one's more painted actually, and you could tell. But again, I think his work focuses more on environment stuff and maybe some keyframes. I think that's where his he doesn't do a lot of characters and stuff, as you can see here. Now this is actually kind of very heavy environment for me, and there's also a lot of colors going on here. Damn. And the way he paints, it's actually kind of clean. I mean, not as kind of tight, not super tight. But it's I think it's more of a render kind of guy where he's more kind of specific or deliberate with the strokes. For me, I'm kind of more playful and more abstract, impressionistic. It's just kind of suggestible, like I'm trying to suggest instead of dictate, you know? Now this one is actually more painterly. Now he did use some photo bash for this rock right here and some stuff here, but he was able to kind of blend things together pretty well. And yeah. So again, more environment stuff. This could also be a keyframe, I guess. Ooh, this one's more painterly, way more painterly. Even though I probably used the photo, you can see right here, kind of a whip, work in progress, and then he painted over it for the most part. And yeah. So based on his work, I think it does more kind of sci-fi stuff, but occasionally some fantasy kind of stuff. So here's more painterly. This actually reminds me of John Park's kind of sketches. If you check out John Park's profile, which I will be doing an art review of eventually. He's way more bold and very shapy. He's focused on the big shapes and not very, not super impressionistic. So an original concept done in 2014 for pre-production of Kong Skull Island. Nice. Yeah, this was the kind of environment of the kind of a native folks there. Very interesting. And I do like when people share the kind of pre-production kind of work, so you can kind of get a feel of what kind of standard is expected when it comes to finished, or what would they consider kind of a finished concept. So yeah, it's very helpful actually. This is cool. This is a nice frame. Again, this could be a keyframe. Photo bashed. And then he painted the character and this kind of weird looking dog. And the eyes. It reminds me of that character in Ghost in the Shell. I'm not sure. But there was this guy that he had his eyes kind of blown out or something. And then they replaced his eyes with something like this. It's very off-putting actually. It's scary. But yeah. So this one's more painterly and more flat. Very focused on the shape. I do like the way the character is painted, even though the position or the pose is kind of it's not as complicated. The way it just flows, right? Even the hair is kind of flowing just the right way, and it's kind of a puffy pants, some nice boots, cool jacket, a very kind of Back to the Future kind of vehicle, at least for the back part right here. It looks very Back to the Future esque. Oh wow, this actually reminds me slightly of Sid Mead's work. It's kind of retro and stuff. I wish Frank Hong did more paintings and stuff, because it doesn't update regularly on ArtStation. But again, he's probably busy compared to me. This one was posted 3 years ago, and yeah, I do like the way he contrasted the kind of foreground stuff with the kind of background. It's cooler in the foreground and then warmer in the background, and then he added this kind of warm spot right here to kind of complement to kind of create a break between this very cool foreground right here. Very interesting. And again, it's more painterly. And look at the way he paints. It's not as kind of a painterly. It's kind of rendery and slightly tight. And I guess that's why it reminds me of Sid Mead. Because if you look at the kind of rendering, the gouache renderings of Sid Mead, it's kind of in this level where it's kind of tight. Not too tight, but it's kind of more contained. Oh, I should have dragged it. Yeah, it does remind. This also reminds me of Sid Mead. Very nice. I like the way he did the reflections right here in the car. Wow. And he didn't use a lot of brushes actually. It's kind of flat almost. Yeah, not a lot of brush variety. But the color scheme is kind of cool. The blacks, the blues, and the reds. So this one was posted a year ago. Kind of a fun study of his. Ooh, I do like this. This could actually be a kind of print. You could actually sell this on ArtStation, because I think ArtStation does have a category for prints and stuff. So maybe you could sell this actually and make a few bucks during the lockdown. And again, with the way he paints, it's very similar to kind of gouache type of illustrations. It's more flat, slightly tight, but very kind of full, and it's kind of filled up. So this is a another painting for fun. Double tap, zombies in the background. So this is more painterly. He probably used, there's a photo right here obviously, but I think for the rest he just kind of painted it. And oh that's toilet paper right there. Okay. Oof. This one's very cyberpunk-ish. I do like the way he painted this kind of yellow streak for the wheels. The wheel kind of streaks and stuff. It reminds me of Alexander Mandry. I can't remember his full name, but he does a lot of. He did recent work for Marvel films, for a few Marvel films. I think Spider-Man, Black Panther, and the magic guy, Doctor Strange. He has a lot of kind of keyframe paintings, and it did remind me, or his Doctor Strange kind of piece reminds me of, or I can recall that kind of Doctor Strange piece because of this kind of rendering technique here. Posted 4 months ago. So I think this is his very recent piece. Again, posted 4 months ago. Cyberpunk. Fan art for the game, I believe, 2077. And yeah, it's pretty short, but I do recommend that you go back. And go to his YouTube channel and find the videos where he does it's lagging, where he does the environment, especially this one, and come on, speed up, and this one, and you'll actually be kind of intrigued with this kind of process. And especially I think with this video he did explain the kind of technique of using kind of blending options for photo bashing, so you can kind of extract certain elements from a photo, especially if they're from one kind of color range. You'll be able to kind of extract them and use them for to kind of help fill up certain areas. So yeah, so hopefully you found an artist that you like and that can actually help you in your work. And I do recommend checking out Frank Kong, especially his YouTube channel, because you will actually learn a lot. He doesn't have a lot of videos as well, but especially for the following kind of 3 videos, environment videos, you will be able to learn something and also gauge the kind of process and kind of get a feel of how he goes from start to finish. So yeah, do follow Frank Kong on ArtStation, and do subscribe to him on his YouTube channel, and I hope you have a good day. Stay free.